Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and critical aspect of decentralized finance, or DeFi, lending protocols. These platforms promise a more open, accessible financial system, cutting out traditional middlemen by using algorithms and smart contracts to automate loans. But there's a catch. The very algorithms designed for efficiency could actually harbor or even amplify biases, leading to unfair treatment. That's where algorithmic auditing comes in, offering a way to identify and fix these issues, ensuring DeFi lives up to its democratizing promise. So, how does bias actually show up in DeFi lending? It can be subtle. You might see discriminatory outcomes in loan approvals, where certain wallet addresses or those using specific assets get worse terms. It could also be in how interest rates or collateral ratios are set, disadvantaging some users. Even though DeFi aims for pseudonymity, on-chain data can sometimes reveal patterns that algorithms unintentionally learn to discriminate against. This bias can come from various places: the data used to train any machine learning components, design choices in the protocol's logic, or even the oracles supplying external data. The consequences? Eroding user trust, systemic unfairness, and maybe even regulatory trouble. To tackle this, algorithmic auditing uses a mix of data analysis, model inspection, and simulation. First, there's data-driven analysis. Auditors look at historical transaction data for disparities in loan approvals, interest rates, or collateral across different user segments. They might use proxies like transaction volume or wallet age since demographic data isn't there. They also analyze which on-chain factors most heavily influence lending decisions. Next, if the source code is available, auditors review the logic in smart contracts for any hard-coded conditions or oracle integrations that might lead to bias. If the model is a black box, they use testing methods, feeding it various inputs to see if similar profiles get different outcomes. Techniques like LIME or SHAP can help infer what drives decisions. Simulation and counterfactual analysis are also key. Auditors run what-if scenarios to see how the protocol behaves under different conditions. They also test counterfactual fairness. Change one small thing in a user profile, like the primary asset used for collateral while keeping its value the same, and see if the loan terms drastically change. Auditors also examine the economic incentives of the protocol, as biases can emerge from how users are expected to interact with the system. Finally, they check oracle integrity. Since DeFi relies on oracles for external data like asset prices, any flaws or biases in these oracles can introduce unfairness into the system. Now, auditing for bias in DeFi isn't straightforward. Pseudonymity is a big hurdle. Without identifiable demographic data, it's hard to define and measure fairness across protected groups. Auditors often have to rely on those on-chain proxies we mentioned. Accessing and processing blockchain data for bias detection can also be complex and resource-intensive. Plus, DeFi protocols are constantly changing, so audits need to be ongoing, not just a one-time thing. And perhaps one of the biggest challenges is defining fairness itself. There are many mathematical definitions, and choosing the right one for a specific DeFi context is crucial and often debated. So, what's the path to fairer DeFi lending? It starts with developers proactively embedding fairness considerations right from the design phase, using diverse datasets, and building more transparent models. The DeFi community also needs to encourage the development of standardized auditing frameworks and tools specifically for bias detection. Ultimately, regular, independent algorithmic audits focusing on fairness should become a standard practice. This will promote transparency and build the user confidence needed for decentralized finance to truly flourish. Thanks for tuning in.